time. Here's AOC. She slips and she says at the end what the Democrats are actually thinking and why they're actually impeaching the president. Check this out.
At the end of the day, we have to be able to come together as a caucus. And if it is this Ukrainian allegation that is what brings the caucus together, then I think we have to run with however we unify the House. And so while I believe personally that we should be pursuing and investigating quite flagrant abuses of the Emoluments Clause, even reporting as recently as the suspicious stops at Trump properties, even in congressional delegations, or rather in foreign trips. I think that all of this is game for investigation, but we also need to move quite quickly because we're talking about the potential compromise of the 2020 elections. And so this is not just about something that has occurred. This is about preventing a potentially disastrous outcome from occurring next year.
I turned myself into a pickle!
You better do something about that.
Yeah.
That could be trouble, especially in this house.
That kind of news. Jeez.
What the hell was that? Number one thing listen, folks, I get it. I'm not claiming to be the, Ronald Reagan of public speaking or anything,
right,
or to have the vocabulary of, an IQ 160 Mensa genius. But, I spent a lot of my life in school. I did 2 graduate degrees I'm very proud of, and I was not a very good speaker growing up, and I took a couple courses. I learned to use the English language, wrote a few books here and there. They did okay. Learned how to get rid of my hanging participles and things like that. I really don't like when people try to sound smart and they say things that are completely ridiculous. Things like, I believe personally. Is there a way to believe impersonally? Like, I believe for Paula. I mean, and then she goes on to spout off a bunch of, and let me tell you, quite frankly, I believe personally. I'm restraining myself here because it really is frustrating. This is a person who wants to take your money, your health care, your kids' educational opportunities, your economic freedom, your liberty, your gun rights away. I'm sorry. You should be able to formulate a coherent sentence without spouting conspiracy theories. Did you hear the conspiracy theory she threw in the middle there? And President Trump with the Emoluments Clause and people staying at his resorts overseas. You mean that story about landing in Scotland that we debunked a month ago? You mean that? So you must have missed our Debunk This episode on that, where that was totally discredited and debunked. You must have missed that. You must have missed that episode. But she slips at the end and throws in there that what they're really afraid of is a catastrophe in 2020. In other words, a Trump re-election. Because she's probably not as politically savvy as Pelosi, is a little smarter in hiding what they're really doing.